Did you know ChatGPT can help your plants thrive? The free AI tool completely transformed how I care for my plants, and it can do the same for you. This is so weird for me to say, but I have to tell you, ChatGPT has helped save over a dozen of my plants. And it happened in a very interesting way, where I noticed an issue with my Queen Anthurium, where there was some webbing. And I wasn't 100% sure whether or not it was spider mites. So I took some pictures of it and uploaded into ChatGPT and asked it to diagnose and kind of dissect, look at it, and give me its best opinion. Sure enough, it came up with the correct answer, and I was able to save my Queen Anthurium, not because it helped identify the fact that it was spider mites, but because it was a brand new leaf that they were going after. And it gave me the tips that I needed in order to make sure that they wouldn't destroy a brand new sensitive leaf. And because of that response from ChatGPT, I was able to learn that this is the proper way of really taking care of any pest issues that are on Anthurium. This here is my Anthurium, Fort Sherman, Ralph Lyman, Bessier, AFF. And this is Tequila Jackson Brown. Tequila Jackson Brown! She's a sleepy little girl, but she loves the plant. She doesn't bother them at all. So, what we're going to do is we just take a simple mix. Of course, because it is an anthurium, we want to use filtered water because the chemicals that are inside our tap water can cause damage to their foliage. If you ever see like the browning, the yellowing spots, and you're watering your anthurium with water that comes out of a tap, that's exactly why. So we use filtered water, and that's what I did. I mixed in some filtered water with a simple solution of unscented dish soap, just a couple little drops, and I put in a couple splashes of some neem oil. Captain Jack's dead bug always seems to do really well. Mix those together and simply clean off the leaves. Now, the reason why I'm choosing this plant is because I also noticed a little bit of webbing recently on one of the leaves. So if there's a little bit of webbing, that means that on one leaf, that means that there is going to be more, at least on others. So I simply just wash it off and gently rub those beautiful velvety leaves. And in terms of Anthurium, it's more so the velvety leaf ones that really take to tap water more harshly. So that's why you have to be extra cautious. And for the longest time, I was watering my Anthurium crystallinum, another velvety leaf, gorgeous Anthurium with tap water, and its leaves, well, I think I could probably show you because it wasn't until recently when I started changing things out. But yeah, you can see on some of those leaves right there how nasty things got. But then the new leaves that are coming in, much better. So that's what we're going to do. This, by the way, was a gift given to me by the owner of the Flora Foundry here in Denver, and it has become one of my favorite Anthurium. I, I almost want to say it is my favorite Anthurium, but that of course goes to the King, which of course is my favorite. Just has to be, right? And what I love about this plant is, yes, it's a hybrid, but and if you're wondering, that it looks like an Anthurium papillodanum. Is that how you say it? I'll put the name on the bottom of the screen. Well, that's what a Fort Sherman is. So a Fort Sherman is a base. And boy, where is it located? Also in the bottom of the screen, because that's where the papillodanum, or however you say it, was discovered. And this plant in particular was discovered at that base, that U.S. base that is based there, and is basically just a different form of the papillodanum. And so basically, it's a papillodanum. And what I'm going to do is just clean off these leaves. And unfortunately, because these two new leaves just grew in, these ones right here, and can't wash those yet because they're still growing. I was so silly when I was taking this out of watering it and I accidentally got water on the new leaf, and so this is what happens. Anthurium leaves are so sensitive when they're first coming out, especially these beautiful, beautiful velvety ones. So you have to be extra cautious. But another success story from ChatGPT, just like this one. Speaking of Anthurium, I have to tell you this because this is insane too. The fact that I knew deep down that my King Anthurium needed to be repotted. I've been telling you guys about that here on YouTube for a while now. But it came down to the point where I noticed yellowing and browning on two of its most mature and longest leaves, uploaded it into ChatGPT, and sure enough, it diagnosed the problem. I have to tell you, ChatGPT has been correct 100% of the time in the dozen or so plants that I have had it look at. This here is my Alocasia zebrina, which started off as a little bitty baby plant. I kid you not, like more than maybe like 7, 8, no, probably 12 inches. I don't know how tall it is now, but it's taller than me, and I'm 5'6". But my question had to do with the yellowing of the leaves on the side. Like, I know what causes it, but I asked ChatGPT, can I basically trim off the yellow edges of an alocasia, or will it cause any damage or harm to the plant? And ChatGPT answered, after taking a picture of this, said, well, first off, that's a beautiful alocasia zebrina, which I agree. But the main thing was, no, it's not going to harm the plant, but let's look over the things that cause it first. Yellowing, if you're unfamiliar, can be caused by things like a lack of humidity. Alocasias love humidity between 60 to 80%. And irregular watering can be another issue, which was my problem here. Stress can be another one, as well as old age. This right here is one of the plant's older leaves. This one is the oldest of them all. And so that is what's causing it, aside from my irregular watering where I wasn't watering it enough. That said, there is a giant humidifier right next to it, so I don't know what it's complaining about. Um, it's probably complaining at me. But also, over fertilizing can be an issue. I don't know how I feel about that one because alocasias, like Anthurium, are heavy feeders and they love to be fertilized year round. So I always give it a smidge of fish fertilizer in its watering. Never has had an issue that has never caused yellowing. In fact, it has made these leaves balloon in size. There's a brand new leaf coming out over here. So no, trimming the leaves, the yellow parts, won't be an issue at all. It won't cause harm. In fact, what it can do is it can deter pests, because pests are prone and attracted to the sides of leaves that are not doing too well, like this. And so it will deter them. And I've noticed on this allocation in particular that there were little webbings along one of the sides of the leaves, which is an indication of spider mites. So I'm going to not only trim those leaves, the yellow parts at least, but I'm going to give it a good bath. And I'm going to do that for a couple of weeks every time I water this plant, just to make sure that the spider mites don't return. But mind you, spider mites love alocasia, so, there's always that. But not only will it help with all of those things, guys, but it'll also help with an aesthetic look of this plant. So that is one of the nice things about it. Out of curiosity, too, I was just wondering, like, um, will this harm the plant? Does the plant ever feel it? And ChatGPT said no, which makes sense because alocasia and plants, just in general, don't feel physical pain or emotional pain like us humans or pets. Well, I disagree. I think I think that they have emotional pain because they're very smart. But what they do experience is the stress that comes from it. They do understand that something is happening. And so what they do is they can do things like release a signal to other plants to know that there is harm, which means that all the plants in my collection are going to look at me and be like, keep that guy away from us. But here's the thing, when you are trimming these sides of these leaves, the yellow parts, you want to make sure that you're staying close to the edge. You do not want to cut in to the green part of the foliage. That would be a really stressful end for the plant. And you also want to make sure that you're following the lines of the plant. So yeah, there will be a little bit of yellow lining, but it won't be too bad, you know? So thank you, ChatGPT, for another insightful and helpful tool for me to know. By the way, if you're wondering whether or not this is true with other plants, in terms of Araceae, aroid plants like your philodendron, your monstera, your pothos, your anthurium, yeah, it's true. You can, because aroids share a very similar vascular system with one another, each of the genus, and that allows for this to happen. And not only that, but it allows for growth to happen because the energy from the plant will start transferring that energy to new growth instead of pumping it into this part that's just not doing too well. But you do want to be cautious with certain genus, for instance, like Monstera. You don't want to cut into the fenestrated areas because that would be very stressful for the plant. And also with like Anthurium, you have to be cautious, especially if you're looking to grow flowers from the plant because it can affect the flowering aspect of the plant. Another ChatGPT save. Boom. So yeah, it's kind of crazy the fact that not only has it helped diagnose and prove the point that my Queen Anthurium had spider mites, and before that, thrips, my King Anthurium with its issues and needing to be repotted, as well as my Alocasia, which was clearly suffering. And so, yeah, it's as simple as just taking pictures with your iPhone or your Android, uploading it into ChatGPT, and asking it that simple question with a prompt like, can you give me an idea of what this might be? And 100% of the time, it has been correct with mine. So, yeah, I can't thank it enough, which is weird to say because, alas, it is, you know, an AI, I guess. Let me know in the comments whether or not you guys have dived into this realm to have AI help and look at your plant issues. By the way, I want to thank you guys for watching another one of my planting videos, and if you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell for more fun and interesting planting content just like this. By the way, if you want to know more about my Anthurium and how I go about making sure they're safe when AI isn't involved, take a look at this video here in the corner because I share some really nice human tips which will really help your Anthurium thrive. I have to say, if I'm doing this video, then I'm pretty much useless at this point. AI can take over, but until then, I'll see you guys in the next video.